You over these husbands, of course, me, Stacey Jordan. You can call me Stacey. Got my husband with me. Got Randy P.
What's going
Stu
on,
Baby, and of course, got a single man on campus, the coach.
What's up?
Coach Will. And with us today, the pastor of Zion Church, one of the largest churches in the DMV, and the author of the newly released book, Chickology: Why Men and Women Cheat.
Yeah.
Husbands, give it up for Pastor Keith Battle.
What's up, my brother? What's up, my brother?
Yes.
Yes. Whoa. Man, I thought he was going to Barnell me, man.
Say what?
He was going to Barnell me. From Martin. You
Did
remember
you miss me?
It was an episode of Martin. He was on a radio show. And he told Martin to come see him in L.A. And when he got out to L.A., Barnell was like, I don't know who you are.
Oh, wow. Man, I'm over here with you. You know I know you. Thank y'all for having me,
You
man.
got elevated to show.
That's right, man.
They do that. He said they do that. They do that.
When I saw the Uber sign in the window, I knew.
You knew. He trying to get that deaconship.
Thank y'all, man.
Yes.
Thank y'all for having me. I
Man,
appreciate
it's so
it.
It's a
good
pleasure,
to have you, man.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, man. I wanted to. I think I told you this already, but I wanted to have you on here for a while now because we had a guest and you in that clip you were talking about marriage and the boyfriend and he's a boyfriend still wanting to be a boy. A man is ready to commit.
Yeah.
And we actually had a guest, y'all remember, great guest, one of our favorites, Mimi Green. She's been with her, I guess her man, her boyfriend, she says boyfriend, and for the last, what has it been, like 15, 16
I
years?
think their oldest kid is in the teens.
Yeah. And so they, they got a life together, but they just not married.
Sure.
And I really wanted to get your take on that, with her being a lasting, committed, relationship, but not really being married. You run into people like that a lot?
Absolutely.
Really? What do you usually say? I mean, all intents and purposes, they build a life together.
I don't say anything unless they ask me.
That's
their life.
That's true.
I mean, I have thoughts about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, what do you think?
I think, a lot of it has to do with, what a person believes is right or wrong, right? So my belief system about relationships is shaped by my faith. So I didn't make the rules, right? So, like the Bible is a book that I kind of get my direction from, and in that context, in order to have that level of intimacy with another human being, you need to be married to him. So there's already something inherently wrong with me being in an intimate relationship with somebody that I haven't made a marital commitment to by saying vows and changing their last name and asking their father, can I be, what about all that? Like, some man is going to be with my daughter like that. I would want him to come to me and say, hey, I'm ready to drop your name off her name, and I'm going to take care of it like you did.
That made my heart
that didn't
drop
happen
a
for her.
little bit.
That didn't happen for her.
Right, yeah.
So, how does he have all this? You having his kids. So that's I don't ever want to sound condescending about it because it really comes from a space that has shaped our thinking that we didn't create.
Right.
That's what we believe is
right. That's what we believe, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you saying that because I was having that conversation with somebody, and I'm like, look, they don't necessarily believe what I believe about the situation. I can't beat them over the head with that. But what I do, I can look at them, and they are in a committed relationship. Literally, they committed to each other, been committed to each other. Yeah. Forsaking. I'll be like, girl, you married anyway. You ain't did it, but y'all pretty much together. But I really appreciate the part, and I think this is what makes your book so good, is that it's not judgmental. I think generally because we're on an extended visit to your church.
I appreciate
like
it.
6 months now. But one of the things is
I'm gonna get y'all some offering envelopes.
personalized ones.
Personalized.
We give online, but no. That's one of the things that makes it so. Well, for one, inviting at your church, like you can be a part and not necessarily have to join and serve and everything, but it's not judgmental. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that understanding that about you myself as I read your book, Chickology. For a pastor to talk about dealing with a side chick, my initial thought is, he about to beat somebody up, But you say, and I've heard you say this, that not only are you talking about this and you help people, but this is like you've lived some of this.
Absolutely. No question. Lived a lot of it.
Yeah.
I've had this experience, so I know what it's like.
Yeah.
I had somebody say to me, which is interesting because I think I'm going to talk about it this Sunday, but somebody said to me, you really need to say if a man loves God, he fears God and have a relationship with God, he would never cheat on his wife, right? So I said, interesting. I said, have you ever heard this statement? The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? Lord is the strength of my life, whom shall I be afraid? I started going through all the Psalms David wrote.
Yeah.
Most people sampling David all through history.
Yeah.
God says, that's a man after my own heart.
Yeah.
I said, you thinking he loved God? He was a worshiper.
Yeah.
He would crowd to God, lead me.
Yeah.
But one day, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it ain't about that. There are other factors that go into it,
Right.
you know? And so I understand it. That's why I have compassion about it, but I'm not justifying it. I'm saying there has to be a system in place to protect you from crossing the line.
Yeah.
And one of those things is you look at Proverbs chapter 5. Proverbs chapter 5 teaches that in order to avoid the adulterous woman is you have to have a fired up marriage. The best way to fight off a cold is to be healthy.
Yeah.
Get that good
Not
medicine
wait till
in
somebody
there.
cough on
Right.
you.
Right.
But how do you make your own marriage dope enough so that you're not desperate?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's, and I don't think we do that. I think we wait till our marriage, we just let our marriages fade.
Wow.
Fade with busyness and times and schedules and kids and stuff, and that's what happened to my wife and I.
Yeah,
you know?
said that. You said marriages inherently you didn't say degrade. You said
atrophy.
They atrophy. That's what you said. Yeah.
They always start up high.
Yeah.
You get married. Think about all the work you did to propose and get on your knee and say, "I want to spend my life with you."
Yeah.
And then you gotta now you're going to, man, I'm trying to build my career. I'm trying to do all these things, and all the time that was invested in being close to each other is lost in other things. And if you don't spend, my wife and I went out today, and we set up. We just today. Thursday's our date day. I gave her 5 questions. I said, what do you want us to do every year, annually? What do you want us to do quarterly? What do you want us to do monthly? Wow. What do you want us to do weekly? What do you want us to do daily? And I said, it could be something we're already doing that we don't do enough, or something we've never done. She gave me her list. I gave her. We are already trying to. We have a great marriage, 30 years.
Congratulations.
But we're still working on things. The list she gave me today is stuff she wants us to do every month. Wow. Stuff she wants us to do quarterly. I'm all in.
Yeah.
Because we got to keep working at it. To keep it so I'm not out here all thirsty.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Because everybody's thirsty at the end of the day. They can act like they're not thirsty. I'm just saying, it's just where you going to quench it.
Hey, but look, you made me see that just brought me to what I was talking to with my man over there. You heard us talking about it, right?
I did.
How much access is too much access? Tell me where you stand.
What you say?
Having access to your spouse's phone and everything. And this was my logic behind it. I say my wife can have access to everything, and I think I told you this directly. That my wife can have all the access she wants because it keeps me safe.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't have anywhere to hide. Not that I'm trying to hide, but if ever the day
So you don't have anywhere to hide.
I ain't got nowhere to hide.
You have anything to hide.
No, you know what I'm saying? Whoa.
You ain't got nowhere to hide.
Hey, but really,
I got you.
no, I'm gonna real talk. One of the reasons I got nothing to hide because I ain't got nowhere to put it.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? That's a part of me keeping myself safe.
There you go.
And that was my logic behind
Sure.
it. But what do you say?
So first of all, having access and using it are two different things.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
I
Absolutely.
think everybody should have access in a relationship.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
The higher the level of trust in the relationship, the less the need to probe and invade space.
Right.
Right. So Stuart's relationship with his wife doesn't need that space invasion because there's a high level of trust.
You know, one of the things Ronnie said was his behavior doesn't indicate for me to actually choose.
Absolutely.
So,
But I was telling him, what if one day you I
like
need to
David.
check, but you can't. Like, you can't check, you know?
Again, I think access should be available. Whether or not it's utilized is another thing. But sometimes you're in a relationship with somebody and it's not you that makes them suspicious. It's their history.
Because
Because trust issues are not necessarily inherent to the current relationship. Sometimes people bring in distrust because of what happened to them in their past. Something like what you were saying, right? So if you're with somebody who's been betrayed, who's been cheated on, or who's been mistreated, then they tend to be a little more suspicious. So you have to be sensitive to that. Right? Because probing and invading space or searching phones and all of that's a security issue. It's always about security. And insecurity is present where security is absent. So if I don't create an environment where my wife is secure, if the doors are not locked, if the garage passcode is open for everybody to know, whenever you have an unsecured context for a person, a woman especially, who's built for security, then insecurity sets in, and then their response is out of fear. Right. So it is important for you that you continue to provide that openness. And I don't think what Stuart was saying is that, if at the end of the day, if anybody's hiding something, that's the key. Then you don't get the right to protect something that might be violating the marriage. That's my opinion. You don't get the right to say, it's different to say I don't want you in my stuff for some reason. But if you violated trust, and you still don't want somebody in your stuff, you gangster. How you gonna break the rules, be unfaithful, and we still can't check you? That accountability is a part of restoring trust. That I gotta be able to see because when somebody goes in somebody's phone, right, particularly somebody who's violated trust, they're looking for one of two things. They're looking to find that you're cheating again, or to find that you're not. It ain't but two things. Right. There is no neutral search. I need to know you still dirty or you clean. Every time I go in, I need something to be solidified. I need to have my doubts relieved, or I need to have my suspicions affirmed. But I cannot be kept out of it, because then I'm going to have my suspicions affirmed because of what you're trying to keep me from. That's all.
Let me say something real fast.
Go ahead, please.
So I got the book, and I got the book on my phone. It was such an ezy read because I felt like
I went to
somebody.
Fairmont Heights. It's
not that way.
It's called the book an easy read and insult.
It's all good.
So the reason why I got
you
the
make
book,
something complicated easy, that's a compliment.
That's what Jesus did, right?
Look, so pass the battle. So when I got the book so I could do just an intelligent interview. Right. I wanted to give you your space and ask you pertinent questions that would help the audience, right?
Right.
But as I'm reading it, I said, wait a minute. Pass the battle up here checking me. Like this book, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be a journalist and try to ask questions, but wait a minute. Am I cheating? Like I read some of the stuff like, whoa! Like some of the stuff you saying, I'm like checking myself. So now I'm in the book like, oh, this is for me. So what I got to tell the people out here is please get this book, because not only will it help a married man who is faithful, it'll help a single man, help a woman, it'll help. I mean, let me tell you something. I was diving into the book. One of my favorite chapters is ribology.
Ribology.
Oh my goodness, ribology. Let me tell you something. And there were some things in there that you was saying that I was like, you know what? It's might true, be doing the. Yeah, it's true.
That ribology, some good stuff.
Hey, you spoke to me, and I was like, But what I'm trying to say is, for the people out here that's listening, is that even though I think, or I thought before I started reading the book, that I was in a good place, right? It showed me, hey, youngin, you need to step your game up. There's always room for improvement. This book is lit. I'm telling you, bro.
You know, in a castle, right? Because I don't write this in the book, so this is good. So in the castle is always on a hill. If you ever see where the royal family is protected, it's always in an impregnable environment. It's on a hill, right? The hill is there so that anybody trying to get to the royal family, they got to go up a hill to get there, so it's hard. But at the bottom of the hill, there's something called a moat. And the moat is a body of water that they have to swim through with alligators in it. But on the other side of the moat is a wall. So you got to climb a wall, swim the moat, climb the hill to get to them. But on the wall are snipers, and on the tower, sometimes there's even a bridge. On the tower, there's a security guard who can snipe you out and tell you that. What I'm saying is, there's so much to secure the castle, the king and the queen, that you just can't get to them. And I'm saying our castles are real vulnerable. We play online. We look at women's butts. We on pornography. We in the man cave. We playing. And I'm saying there are too many breaches to get to the castle, and we just playing. But I think what you found in the book is that we're trying to tighten up the boundaries so that our marriages are protected. Because it's one thing to just say, I'm not going to go and have sex with another woman, but are you going to have a conversation that's inappropriate.
Yeah.
And I don't even mean saying something sexual. I'm just mean you just too friendly. Like one thing we know, we in our heart, right? Like why do you always want to be her space partner? Right. Why you always trying to be space? You know we should always be partners.
Like,
Just little stuff.
This real talk right here. This real.
And all women that are woke, they pick up on it. They only have to say that. Say,
wait till we
you don't
get
never play
back.
with me. You don't never want to play with me. You say I always renege.
You nigga happy when I want to play.
Like I always your nigga, but you the read nigga.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, look. So has like since the book has been out, has like any guys come to you and say, "Why you have to say it like that?
Why you giving
Why
up
you
the
calling
game?
me?
I wanna ask you that.
Call me Huggy Lowdown. I'm now the new celebrity
Pastor?
snitch.
Why you calling me a boy? Talking about I got game. Why you talking
Nah,
about
man. You know what? I'm expecting that and have expected it. I've had men just the opposite. Man, say, man,
Oh, wow.
you gonna make me get married, man.
Wow.
You got me on that.
Wow.
Because most men who are single, no offense to you, Will.
Oh, I
most,
don't get offended. Don't worry about
most men who are single would have to admit there's a little selfishness with it. Because I kind of like being
Man,
this.
that's what
I
you
kind
say
of
all
like.
the time.
I kind of like the thing that people still want. I still got options, right? And that when I say to them, man, we need y'all, man. We need husbands and fathers, man. It breaks my heart that my daughter's 28 years old. She got a daughter. And that she would have to go into her townhouse by herself. Like, what if somebody's watching her?
Yeah.
There needs to be somebody like this that's in the house. Women need to be covered. But guys, they like their singlehood, man. They like that. They worship it. And I've had guys come to me and say, man, you telling the truth, man. I just got to make a decision. You really. So I've had the opposite, really. I mean, it's a lot of guys posting a lot about it. Guys who post about it are usually kind of right. Guys they watching, right? But they ain't doing a lot of posting. Like I said, man, why don't you promote the book? Hey, man, I might not want to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And then another thing about guys, I gotta do an audio version of it, man. So because
Yes.
a lot of guys will listen to it, but unlike you, Stuart, they're not really readers. But I tried to make the book, because you said it's an easy read, because I tell an adultery story in the book.
Oh yeah.
That's thread in there to keep the ADD people connected.
Can't keep him
I was locked.
Sandy
in.
and Ray, Sandy and Ray, little John.
Read like this.
That's a little tricky, ain't it?
I read like this. Like, that's what.
Yeah.
That's how you put the conversation together.
Yeah.
That's why you say it like that. Oh, that's what happened.
Yeah, look at Randy trying to act so totally stupid. Alexis, I have no idea how to I have no game.
Listen, right, if you're watching, I don't even know how to play this game they're talking about.
Absolutely.
Hey, Randy, do I need to go back to circa 2002, 3, 4?
Listen, like what did R. Kelly say? As you beat your case, you beat your case.
Wow.
You beat your case.
I beat
can't be double jeopardy to me,
you
man.
can't double jeopardy me.
Hey, so what would you say, because you brought it up, what would you say to single people how to establish a good, healthy relationship? Because one of the things that you mentioned is a pattern of behavior. What should people look for if they suspect something, or just how to secure it from the jump?
So you're talking about a single man, woman? What do you be
Just
specific?
Single, either or. Only.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I have a system of questions that I think gets there are a couple of F words that I use, they're not profanity, and then I call it the airplane conversation, right?
Right.
So when you get on an airplane, we sit beside each other on an airplane. There are three things that we're going to say. We're going to introduce ourselves. We get names. Then we find out where we're going, right? Because we may not be going to the same place. Because my destination may be your connection, right? And then where you from? Like, because we may be at BWI, but you may be there on business. Hey, so where you from? So, and where you going? And what you're doing? What are you doing there? So that's what you do. You find out a person's history. Where you from? And where you from is not just geographical. Like, what's your family? What made you where you are? What you are? Like Randy, like we found out tonight, where he's really from, right?
Yes.
The Kashmiri man.
Man, look at those waves. Look at those waves.
Where you from? Where you going? What's your destiny? Because if there's a destiny collision, then we know it's not going to work.
Right.
Where you're headed and where I'm trying to go is not the same thing, right? So that's a very important question in what you're doing right now. Then I think it's important to have profound questions like what are your greatest fears? What are your flaws? And what are your failures? What mistakes have you made in your life that you wish you regret? And the person's got to be willing to answer those questions too, because we all have failures. What are your greatest fears? What do you fear the most? And what are your flaws? And what are your fantasies? What do you dream of being? Those are the kind of questions and conversations over dinner that get you to know a person.
Right.
What we do is just talk about what you think of that Gambino song, or we're like, you know, do you like cake? Do you like restaurants? It's just because it's so superficial. But those words get you to profundity. So you can be, am I vibing with this person?
Yeah.
Because it's got to be more than just a physical attraction, even though I think physical attraction is important. Because you can't fall in love with somebody you're not attracted to, and that changes. And it's unfair to the person that you think, you know, my heart fell, but I wasn't really feeling them. Because that people get punished later on for not looking a certain way, but you never told me that. So those are some of the things I was saying.
Pastor, what does it mean? Because you talk about your wife in the book a lot, right? And I've heard these guys talk about your sermons that you bring your wife up a lot. What does it mean to you as a man, as a father talking to a father and a husband? What did it mean for your wife? For your wife to still accept you and stay in there with you, even though you have already said, even in the book, that the relationship was rough.
It was
for
terrible.
many years, right?
It was terrible.
What does it mean to you right now as a man? How can you explain that to me, that your wife was still in there for you? She's still riding with you right now.
So it's a miracle because neither one of us really wanted to stay, right?
Oh, wow.
We were so stubborn.
Wow.
We really wanted. I was trying to find a scripture to get out. There's got to be a verse. There's got to be a
There's
verse
always
to get
curse
out
God
of here,
die.
Do something, right? I don't think we ever expected it to get better.
Oh, wow.
We didn't expect it to get better. We stayed because it was the right thing to do.
Ooh.
So it had to be crashed. It had to be destroyed. And we to do the work on it.
Yeah.
And it shocked us. So everything I tell in the book is stuff we do. Like little things we do, like dating, praying together, reading stuff, or watching things together. Like all that stuff, it builds a relationship. So, I mean, when I looked at my wife today, I looked at her, I was emotional. I said, I'm happy. I'm happily married.
Don't do that, because I'm a cancer.
I'm happily married, man.
I get emotional, bro.
Right, we don't need that
Cancer
tonight.
of the group.
I looked at her and said, I'm happy. I'm happy that we're here. I'm happy that you take care of me, that you love me, and that she answered my questions, how we can make it stronger. Like,
Go ahead,
that
man,
we're
get out of
still
here.
working this thing, man. Is really amazing, and that we say that it saved our families. You know what I mean? Like I got sons. I got 2 sons and a daughter. That family wasn't destroyed by divorce. And let me tell you something that's real about me. I not only crossed the line with somebody, got close to somebody, I really believe that I had met somebody that I should have married.
Really?
That's when you know.
Stop it.
Oh yeah. It wasn't just like some little fling. I was like, this person should have been my spouse, right?
Really?
And that made it hard because I was so broken, and my wife and I were so disconnected. We were so isolated in the relationship. But to know that did not happen, and that God saved, in my opinion, both families, because it could have destroyed families. It would have destroyed my testimony, my ministry, the church. I mean, it was a mess, and and God spared it. He saved it, man. So, I had to write about it.
Yeah.
So
that was one of the things.
I'm not gonna back down on it, man.
Yeah.
I don't give up on marriages because I know they'll work if you do the work.
Wow.
I want to ask you this about marriage because again, I just go back to people who who needs marriage, who needs a paper. And I think we got a comment from
Xavier.
let me ask him this first, and we'll get that comment. But you write in the book that when it comes to sex, that men need sex for closeness, women need closeness to want to have sex.
Generally speaking, sometimes it's different.
Okay.
But generally, yeah.
And with that though, it just reminded me. I was telling my wife like sometimes marriage feels like a sick joke. Like we want the same things, but we got 2 totally different ways of going about it. And sometimes it's like, why is this even worth it with all this? Like when you in the moment and you're like, you really getting that hell. You like, what is the point? And how would you express the importance of action? Because we're talking about marriage here. How would you express the importance? Why is marriage so important?
So marriage is God's picture of His love for his people. I don't know why he chose it. And it's been that way. A lot of people think he just showed his marriage for the church. Like he says the church is the bride of Christ. But actually, if you go back in the Old Testament, it was that relationship. He was married to Israel. He says, Israel has gone a whoring after me. Like in the Old Testament, it says he's married to the backslider. Marriage is a picture of a lifelong covenant. And it shows God's allegiance to us. That's why he tells us that our love relationship should picture his love relationship with us. And that tension in the marriage is also seen in the fact that Ephesians 5:33 says that a man needs to be respected, but a woman needs to be loved. But a man has a hard time loving a woman that he doesn't feel respects him. And a woman has a hard time respecting a man she don't feel loved. So it's that vicious cycle. Sometimes people are in that cycle and they don't know how to get out of it. And oftentimes it takes a third party to help them come back together. Because sometimes when your marriage is suffering when petty stuff continues to separate you. Like little stuff becomes big barriers and obstacles. And there are a lot of people who probably watch y'all whose marriages are in trouble. They're hurting. And it may not even be any infidelity yet. He might just be playing his Xbox. Or she might just have thrown her time and attention into her children. You know, right now. They're trying to do something to feed their lives without cheating. But it's just a matter of time before it continues to disintegrate. Because here's how you know. When somebody really says I'm out, very rarely are they out because there's not an option. They're out because there's an option. When somebody can walk away, it's an option. I'm telling you, I've seen it over and over again. People don't walk away to be alone. And unless it's got to be violence and trauma. When somebody they can say, I'm just getting away to clear my head. Nah. There's somebody that they're conversing with.
They got a landing spot.
Or sometimes when they go from being really angry and fussing all the time to really chill, when they really chill, there's somebody else too. I got all the signs. I'll tell you all the signs, right? Think about this. I'm talking about always mad, angry, tension, because we like that till we get sex. Then we be like, hey, you need me to dump trash?
I know, right? Because I'm feeling mad right now.
Right.
I'm angry. I'm so angry.
He said Burger King. 2 hands.
Oh, man.
Wow. Go ahead. You had that comment for.
Oh, this is going back to the questions you were saying that people should ask once they start dating. Those are questions that oftentimes are challenging to some because they can cause you to be transparent about intentions and how reflective you've been. So basically, it's saying it's causing a lot to come up that some people may not even be comfortable with sharing.
You got to be careful how fast you dump and how quickly you dump on people.
That's good advice.
But I think at the same time, when you get a certain age, like you don't have a lot of time for games. Like, do we really have time to be superficial and talking about things that don't really matter? I mean, if you're really looking for somebody to spend the rest of your life with, you got to have those kind of conversations. Because know this, you're going to always be learning your spouse. Okay, how long you've been married. That person is evolving. And your knowledge of them. Well, still, think about this. There's still stuff we hide even 10, 15, 20, 30 years in that we're not totally comfortable
with.
That's why we have bathrobes and towels and bathrooms and doors and locks. I don't want you to see that.
My wife was just like, don't hide from me.
Like, girl, you can't be coming in.
Okay.
Not now. Wait till I do my crunches.
Get the juice.
That's funny.
It's like, go ahead.
That's about you saying this in the book. You were saying that you got to get away. The wife and I do a lot of things, but there's also a safety zone where you can get away with groups.
Absolutely.
Other couples, right? And I know Veronica and I, we use that sometimes. Like we'll get together with the fellas and their wives, and some of the conversations that they'll have will touch on something that we might not have been ready for at the time. I'm like, I'm so blessed to have friends like this.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, for real? Because when you're having tough times, you don't want to go on a one-on-one date with your spouse and it's already tense. All you're gonna hear is the fork hitting the plate.
Wow.
Give me the check. Y'all can't talk. We ain't got nothing to talk about. It's a real ice cold situation. But you take that same tense time and take 2 or 3 other couples and everybody joking. Y'all talking about the sports and everything. Then somebody had the nerve to bring up something. Yeah, we struggle with that too. Now you can laugh about something that was really, really, really tough and difficult. So I think group dating is very important and healthy in marriage. And babysitters. Babysitters need a crown.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen to them. Shout out to you.
Yeah. Without a babysitter, we'd have a marital celibacy.
Oh, my goodness.
Whoa.
That's an oxymoron, too. Marital celibacy. In the world, I got married.
Some people
to be
are
celibate.
on oxy, though. Some people are on oxy. Like, there's people out there that have sexless marriages. We've talked about that on the show.
It's tough. And we need to talk about this sometime. So if you're raised in the church, right?
Yeah.
Nobody told us how to have sex. They just told us don't.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all we were told.
No, you're right.
You can't do it till you get married, right? Do what?
Right.
Then when you can do it, do what? How do I do it?
Right.
So a lot of guys don't know what they're doing, particularly if they were holy, they were Christian guys didn't know. And let's say the young lady, had some experience. She had the football player, the linebacker from Boston,
And a point guard.
and he was getting it, making it happen. Then she married Rev Rollo.
Oh, my God.
And he's like, honey, do I? What are you? And she is like trying to be holy. And she is empty. And she's sad and depressed. That's some real stuff, y'all.
Right. So how do people come?
Or the other way.
How do people overcome that? Because I've heard the comment, well, you don't never test drive the car. How you supposed to know when you get married? You know, what's that about?
Well, you got a lot of they got a lot of driving opportunities when you're married, right?
That's right.
So you got to
true.
learn it from people who know what they're talking about. Study it. Man, you can learn anything online now.
That's right.
And if the marriage bed is undefiled, like what breaks the rules is up to y'all.
That's up to you, right?
Like y'all can try everything.
Hey!
Try everything.
I'm gonna run around this room right now.
Try everything. Anything that's not dangerous or unsanitary, something that would put somebody at risk.
Yeah.
Then that probably shouldn't do that.
I'm glad you cleared it up for Stuart.
Yeah, you don't want to put nobody.
we getting that swing.
There should not be an ambulance at the door.
And again, I'm glad you cleared that up for Stuart as well.
Unless it's me. Like, here I am, the paramedic.
There you go. Hey, where you hurt? Hey, where you need me to search? I got the glove. You told me the glove. Say
That's it. The book is signed Chickology. The man is Pastor Keith Ballard. Give it up for him.
How do we find them?
Yeah, that's what I had to say. Tell people how they can actually get the book and how they can, find you. And come
So
to your church too.
I'm on social media at Keith Battle everywhere. Keith Battle Instagram, Keith Battle Twitter, Keith Battle Facebook. Our church is Zion Church. We're located in Landover, Maryland, Fort Washington, Maryland, Woodbridge, Virginia. Go to zionchurch.org and you can get more information about the church. You can get the book at Zion Church, one of our locations. You can get it at First Baptist Church Glenarden selling it. You can get it at Barnes & Nobles. You can get it at Books A Million, I think.
You get it online too.
You get it online. Amazon. Amazon, the thugs, man. They got everything.
Yeah, they do.
They sell it for whatever they want to sell it for. Give it to you
They do it. Hey,
I sell them on my trunk, though.
that's
See me at a light, just blow the horn. I'll pull over. You a hard cover, soft cover. Got you. I'll sign it.
That's
Pull over on the beltway and sign it.
Hey, yeah, on the street, baby.
That's what we doing.
Got it signed, baby.
I love it. Thank you.
Oh, man. Well, I want to thank Pastor Battle for coming out. Give it up for one more time.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate y'all. I want to thank everybody who commented. And I know some of you commented. I didn't get a chance. We didn't get a chance to read your comments. Still want to thank you for tuning in. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing. We appreciate you. That's why we bring this to you. You know these husbands, we
Love that.